Andrea Arians is a driven, self-made businesswoman who built an empire of 500 restaurant branches across the country. Despite her success, she stays humble, regularly visiting her restaurants and getting involved in day-to-day operations. On a particularly busy day, she's working at one of her flagship branches located in the heart of the bustling city. The towering skyline of high-rise buildings looms overhead as her team rushes to fulfill orders. That afternoon, one of their largest corporate clients places a last-minute order. All her delivery staff are still out on other errands, so, without hesitation, Andrea takes matters into her own hands. She grabs the food herself, slips on a delivery cap, and heads out the door. She arrives at the tall, modern office building of Gutierrez Enterprises. The receptionist directs her to the top floor, and Andrea finds herself in the sleek, luxurious penthouse office of none other than Ethan Gutierrez, the billionaire owner. A man known for his serious demeanor, Ethan has been a recluse since the tragic death of his fiancée years ago. When Andrea enters, she's greeted by Ethan himself. He's taken aback by her warm, unassuming smile, which stands in stark contrast to the somber, businesslike atmosphere of his office. She hands over the order with a polite, "Here's your food, sir. Enjoy your meal." As she's about to leave, Ethan, compelled by an impulsive urge, stops her with an unexpected request. "Wait, would you be interested in a part-time job?" Andrea is momentarily stunned by the question. "A part-time job?" she repeats, raising an eyebrow. Ethan, noticing her surprise, chuckles. "Yes, I need a date for a business dinner tonight. How much do you want for the job?" Amused and intrigued by the strange proposition, Andrea plays along. "A date? You want to hire me as your date?" she teases, not knowing whether to take him seriously. Ethan looks her straight in the eye, completely serious. "Yes, my associates are coming in from overseas, and I need someone who can accompany me to the dinner. I'll pay whatever you think is fair." Andrea's first instinct is to decline, but something about his genuine request makes her reconsider. With a smirk, she replies, "All right, Mr. Gutierrez. Deal. What's the dress code?" "Elegant. Red would look stunning on you," he says before walking her out, leaving Andrea both baffled and amused by the strange twist her day has taken. Later that evening, Andrea steps out of her comfort zone, donning a stunning red gown and matching heels. When she arrives at the upscale restaurant where the dinner is set to take place, heads turn, but none more so than Ethan's. He can barely hide his astonishment as he watches her glide across the room with effortless grace. Gone is the casual delivery girl he met earlier. In her place stands a vision of elegance and sophistication. For a brief moment, Ethan is speechless. Andrea smirks as she takes his arm. "I guess I clean up pretty well?" Ethan nods, still trying to process the transformation. "You look incredible," he finally manages to say. They enter the private dining room, where Ethan's business associates are already seated. As they approach the table, Andrea instantly switches into a more formal, businesslike demeanor, impressing everyone with her poise. She effortlessly engages in conversations about international markets and finance, topics that would have overwhelmed anyone else in her supposed position. Throughout the evening, Ethan watches Andrea with a mixture of awe and admiration. Not only does she carry herself with grace, but she also impresses his business associates with her intellect and insight. Every time she speaks, the room listens. And every time she smiles, Ethan feels something stir within him, something he hasn't felt in years. The dinner concludes with rave reviews from his associates, who congratulate Ethan on finding such an impressive and well-rounded girlfriend. Ethan, amused but somewhat embarrassed by the assumption, doesn't bother to correct them. As they leave the restaurant, Ethan turns to Andrea. "You were incredible tonight. You really played the part." Andrea laughs. "It wasn't much of an act. I've been in my fair share of business meetings." This piques Ethan's curiosity, but before he can ask further questions, she bids him good night, leaving him wondering who she really is. The next morning, Ethan can't stop thinking about Andrea. Her beauty, intelligence, and mysteriousness leave a lasting impression. He places another food order from the restaurant, hoping she will deliver it again. To his disappointment, A different delivery person shows up. Curious, Ethan asks the delivery person about Andrea, but the worker has no idea who she is. Determined to see her again, Ethan begins dining at the restaurant every day, hoping for another chance encounter. Days turn into weeks, and Ethan becomes more intrigued by Andrea's absence. He starts to suspect that she's more than just an ordinary delivery person. His instincts tell him there's more to her story than she let on during their dinner. One afternoon, while he's dining at the restaurant, Ethan finally spots her. She's moving confidently between tables, speaking with guests and staff alike. But something seems off. She's not in her delivery uniform. Instead, she's in professional attire, directing the staff and giving orders. It doesn't take long for Ethan to realize that Andrea isn't just a delivery person. She's the owner. His heart races as he watches her from across the room. The woman he had mistaken for an ordinary worker is actually the powerful, successful owner of a nationwide restaurant chain. As Andrea continues her rounds in the restaurant, one of her employees approaches her, speaking in a low voice. "Ma'am Maria, there's a man asking for you." Andrea's heart skips a beat. She quickly glances across the room and locks eyes with Ethan. He's sitting there, watching her, and she realizes there's no escaping now. She's been hiding the truth from him for too long. In a swift motion, Andrea removes her apron and heads toward Ethan's table, putting on her best professional smile. "Mr. Gutierrez," she greets him warmly. "I didn't expect to see you here again." Ethan stands, a mix of frustration and curiosity in his eyes. "You've been hiding something from me, Andrea." She tries to brush it off with a laugh. "Hiding? What do you mean?" "The waitress called you Ma'am Maria, and I've just been informed that you're the owner of this entire restaurant chain," he says, his tone serious. "You let me believe you were just a delivery person." Andrea hesitates. She knows she owes him an explanation, but how can she explain that she wanted to be seen as just a normal person, not the successful businesswoman everyone treated with reverence? "It wasn't that I was hiding," she says slowly. "I just enjoyed being anonymous. When I'm not wearing the boss hat, I can just be myself." Ethan, surprised by her candor, studies her for a moment. "So, who are you really, Andrea? The powerful business owner or the girl who delivered food to my office?" "Both," she admits. "I've worked hard for what I have, but sometimes I just want to escape from it all. Being Andrea the delivery girl allowed me that." Ethan's expression softens as he begins to understand. He's been captivated by her all this time, but now he's even more intrigued. Days pass, and despite the revelation of Andrea's true identity, Ethan finds himself even more drawn to her. He respects her for her independence, her work ethic, and the fact that she doesn't rely on her wealth or success to define who she is. He calls her one evening, his voice warm with a hint of playfulness. "Andrea, I know I didn't exactly make the best impression the last time we met, but I'd like to make it up to you. How about dinner tomorrow night? No business, no work, just you and me." Andrea considers the offer for a moment, torn between her feelings for Ethan and her wariness of letting anyone too close. "I don't know, Ethan. I'm really busy," she replies, trying to keep her distance. But Ethan persists. "You got to eat sometime, right? And besides, I've been thinking about you a lot." Andrea laughs softly. "Okay, fine. Tomorrow night. But don't expect anything fancy." "Deal," Ethan says, his voice full of relief. The following evening, Ethan and Andrea meet at a cozy, intimate restaurant far from the bustling city. Unlike their previous encounters, the atmosphere is relaxed, and they're free to let their guards down. Over dinner, they share stories about their pasts. Andrea talks about the long hours and sacrifices it took to build her restaurant empire. Ethan, in turn, opens up about the heartbreak of losing his fiancée and how it made him shut himself off emotionally for years. As the conversation flows, they discover how much they have in common. Both have worked tirelessly to achieve their dreams, but they've also both sacrificed personal happiness along the way. There's an undeniable chemistry between them, and the more time they spend together, the more they feel the walls between them crumbling. By the time the night ends, they're sitting close, their hands brushing together on the table. "I had a great time," Andrea says softly, looking into Ethan's eyes. "Me too," Ethan replies, his voice barely above a whisper. And in that moment, something shifts between them. It's no longer just about attraction or curiosity. It's something deeper, something real. Over the next few weeks, Ethan and Andrea continue to see each other. What started as a simple dinner turns into long walks in the park, quiet nights spent talking until the early hours, and moments of shared laughter and companionship. Despite their wealth and success, they find joy in the simplest things, like cooking together or watching the sunset. For the first time in a long while, Andrea lets herself believe that she deserves happiness, even with all the responsibilities of her business. And for Ethan, the pain of his past slowly fades as he begins to open his heart to the possibility of love again. But there's still a part of Andrea that remains cautious. She spent so long building her empire on her own that she's afraid of relying on someone else. "I'm not looking for anything serious, Ethan," she tells him one night, though her heart is conflicted. Ethan smiles gently, understanding her hesitation. "I'm not asking for forever, Andrea. I just want to spend time with you, however long that might be." Andrea appreciates his patience, but deep down, she knows that what they have is more than just a fleeting connection. One evening, Ethan surprises Andrea by inviting her to his company's annual gala, a prestigious event attended by business elites. Though she's initially reluctant, Andrea agrees, knowing that Ethan's been nothing but supportive of her. Dressed in a breathtaking gown, Andrea turns heads as she arrives at the event with Ethan by her side. Throughout the evening, she impresses everyone with her poise, intelligence, and charm, making Ethan feel prouder than ever to have her with him. As the night draws to a close, Ethan pulls Andrea aside, away from the crowd. The look in his eyes is intense, and she can feel the weight of the moment. "Andrea," he begins, taking her hands in his. "I don't want to keep pretending that this is just casual. I care about you a lot, and I'm willing to wait for however long it takes, but I want to know if you feel the same." Andrea's heart races as she looks into his eyes. She's been afraid to admit it, even to herself, but there's no denying the truth any longer. "I do, Ethan," she finally says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I care about you too." With those words, the tension between them melts away, and for the first time, they allow themselves to embrace the love that's been growing between them. It's not the fairy tale they expected, but it's real, and that's what matters most. After that night at the gala, everything changes between Andrea and Ethan. No longer holding back their feelings, they allow their relationship to deepen naturally. They continue to spend more time together, from weekend getaways to quiet dinners at home. Andrea, who was once hesitant to commit, finds herself opening up to the idea of building a future with Ethan. One evening, while they're enjoying a quiet dinner at Andrea's penthouse, Ethan takes her hand and gazes into her eyes. "Andrea," he begins softly, "I've never felt this way before. You've changed my life in so many ways, and I can't imagine my future without you in it." Andrea feels her heart swell at his words, knowing she's found someone who loves her for who she truly is. "I feel the same way," she whispers. With that, Ethan pulls out a small velvet box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. "Will you marry me, Andrea?" he asks, his voice filled with hope and love. Tears fill Andrea's eyes as she nods, unable to speak for a moment. "Yes, Ethan," she finally says, her voice shaking with emotion. "I will." They embrace, sealing their future together with a kiss, and from that moment on, they begin planning their lives as husband and wife. Months pass, and the day of their wedding finally arrives. It's a grand celebration, held in a beautiful vineyard overlooking rolling hills. Close family and friends gather to witness the union of Andrea and Ethan, both of whom have come so far on their individual journeys. Andrea looks stunning in her flowing white gown, her hair cascading in loose waves around her shoulders. As she walks down the aisle, she locks eyes with Ethan, who stands at the altar, looking dashing in a classic black tuxedo. The love between them is palpable, and every guest in attendance can feel the magic of the moment. As they exchange vows, Andrea and Ethan promise to support one another, to love each other unconditionally, and to build a life together full of happiness and laughter. When they kiss for the first time as husband and wife, The crowd erupts into applause, and it's clear to everyone that they are meant to be. The reception is filled with joy, laughter, dancing, and heartfelt toasts from loved ones. Ethan and Andrea, glowing with happiness, share their first dance as a married couple under the twinkling lights. And as the night progresses, they know they've taken the first step toward a lifetime of love. In the months that follow their wedding, Ethan and Andrea settle into married life. They continue to balance their busy careers, Ethan as a successful businessman, and Andrea managing her restaurant empire. But they always make time for each other, prioritizing their relationship above all else. Soon, their love grows even stronger with the news that Andrea is expecting their first child. Overwhelmed with joy, Ethan immediately begins planning for the arrival of their baby. Together, they design a beautiful nursery, pick out baby names, and attend prenatal appointments hand in hand, excited to embark on this new chapter of their lives. Andrea, though initially nervous about becoming a mother, finds comfort in Ethan's unwavering support. As the months pass, they grow even closer, eagerly anticipating the moment they'll meet their little one. When their baby boy, Lucas, is born, Andrea and Ethan are filled with an indescribable sense of love and fulfillment. Holding their son for the first time, they realize just how far they've come, and they know that their family is the most precious thing they've ever created. A few years later, their family expands once again when Andrea gives birth to a baby girl, Emma. Now a family of 4, Andrea and Ethan are overjoyed by the love and laughter that fills their home. Watching Lucas and Emma grow up brings them more happiness than they ever imagined, and they cherish every moment spent together as a family. Despite their demanding careers, Andrea and Ethan make a point to be present in their children's lives, attending school events, playing in the park, and sharing family dinners every night. They've built a strong foundation of love, trust, and respect, and their children thrive in the warmth of their home. Ethan, who once thought he'd never find love again, is constantly amazed by the life they've built together. And Andrea, who once prioritized her career above all else, has found balance and contentment in her roles as both a successful businesswoman and a loving wife and mother. Years pass, and life only becomes sweeter for Andrea and Ethan. Their love continues to grow stronger, and their family becomes the center of their world. They spend their days traveling, exploring new adventures, and enjoying the simple pleasures of life, from picnics in the park to cozy movie nights at home. As Lucas and Emma grow older, Andrea and Ethan remain dedicated parents, teaching their children the values of hard work, kindness, and love. They raise their family with the same passion and commitment they've shown in their relationship, and it's clear to everyone around them that they've created something truly special. Andrea and Ethan's love story, which began with a mistaken identity and an unexpected connection, has blossomed into a lifelong partnership built on trust, respect, and unwavering devotion. Together, they've faced challenges, celebrated successes, and created a beautiful life full of love and happiness. And as they sit on their porch, watching their children play in the yard, they know that their story is far from over. They'll continue to grow, love, and build their future together, forever grateful for the moment that brought them into each other's lives. Love story that will last a lifetime. Hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. Your participation is essential so that we can continue to bring you more incredible stories. Share it with your friends to help our channel grow. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.